All right, I'm just going to keep the shot of Corey up on my screen the whole time, just to make me feel good. She's getting too mainstream, though, I got to tell you.
Yeah, you liked her better
She's too
when no one knew.
mainstream. She's too big time. Yeah, I liked her more when she was just like a small market teams gal, but now she's doing NFL stuff. She's everywhere. She's all-star. I mean,
Yeah.
she's big time. I
Yeah.
mean, before I thought I had a shot,
Yeah.
didn't, but thought. Now I know I don't. And that stinks.
Welcome, everybody, to Court Cousins, episode 74. My name is Kyle. I'm joined, as always, by my dashing, my witty cousin, Jason the Peach. It is wonderful to see you, second cousins. Peach, what kind of show we got coming up for these beautiful people?
Well, it sounds like a short show, but it's going to be jam-packed because we haven't done one in a while. We're going to start with the Are You Okay CP check-in as usual. Then we're bringing it back. It's what I learned because I actually watched some games in full, took some notes. Last two games, first two coming out of the All-Star break, and I'm going to tell you what I've learned. And I don't think you're going to like it. We've got the social media roundup because that's the meat and potatoes that puts this whole thing on the plate. Let's be honest. And then we round up with a large ending, large, buoyant. if placed in water.
Oh, thanks, Peach. So excited to get into that. But before any of that, ladies and gentlemen, do want to give a shout out to all the folks that are supporting us over on the Patreon. You may have noticed no ads for any of our content. We're just trying to do it just for the people, by the people. So if you got $5, you can go on over there and help us out. Shout out to these supporters over there. Luis Rosario, Bolby the Dawn, Paulo and Franz's Warmth, Dylan, Magic Player History, Matthew Bell, Dan Young, Gloria, and Damien. Thank you. Do you have a shout out, Peach?
Yes. I don't. I'm going to shout out our eBay store, which we got going up now. I did not watch the Super Bowl. I instead made a store for us, which ups our game a little more out there in the community. So we got that going. And kind of trying to save up for the upcoming Court Cousins night.
Yes, that is
just
happening.
Make sure that I can have as much fun.
Saturday, March 29th, Peach and I are going to be down in Orlando, Florida with you beautiful people to watch our Orlando Magic take on the Markelle Fultz now led Sacremento Kings. That's going to be a fun time. We're going to do tons of giveaways. Ticket link is in the details. Make sure you get tickets. I think there's only like a week left to get in on the package deal, the discounts, the giveaways that we're going to do. It's going to be a good time, Peach. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. And if you really like you some Markelle Fultz, go to Court Cousins on eBay because there's a huge lot of them going up for sale right now. Also WCJ and Bowl and a couple other former players. So WCJ is not a former player yet.
Oh, damn. That's how we're going to start, Peach? We're going to start with Shade immediately like that.
Well, he's the only player on the current team that I have stuff up of. Otherwise, we're keeping all that. But it's mostly stuff of him on the Bulls, some autograph stuff, some rookie stuff.
Hell yeah.
Just moving it now while it has value.
So go check that out, baby. We're making moves over here. Well done, Peach. That's exciting. So it's been a while since we've really touched base, Peach. So I want to know, are you okay? CP check-in today? How are you feeling, man?
Well, I picked this one here of Contavious, and he's sort of looking around. I mean, this might be the picture that's next to the word Contavious if it was in the dictionary right here. Just kind of a, what the hell is going on? It's been so cold down here in Dallas lately that it was just pipes have been bursting and just people not being able to handle stuff and days canceled because of cold. And like, just this place is not ready for New England type weather. And for the past, I'd say maybe month or so, majority of the days have been cold, multiple layers going out. I know I'm preaching to the choir here because you're up in the cold, but like, you just don't expect that here. And while I can suck it up and make it happen for a couple of weeks, it gets old after a while because of the way everybody else handles it here. And it leaves me a lot of times just kind of being like, okay, all right, come on now. Today we're back in the 60s and I've heard it's going to stay up there. So I think the worst has passed. but it has not been fantastic from that point of view. And it's really like it made me think back to like all the times I lived in the North, which is most of my life, and just lived my life like that for about 5 months out of the year, maybe 6 months. I mean, yeah. Connecticut's maybe not as cold as Vermont or Boston have been, but that's terrible. I don't know why anyone accepts that in their life. Like your back hurts, your joints are sore, it's cold out, you don't want to go anywhere. Like I don't know why anyone would sign up for that long term. What I'm saying is, look, the Civil War is over. Everybody should move from the North back down to the South and just leave everything a wasteland up there because it's too cold. And I don't want to hear it's too hot in the way in the summertime, because even though you may sweat a little bit, at least your joints don't hurt and you can just go outside and you're free, and there's air conditioning everywhere. It's a modern times. Come on. End of rant.
This man is
How
ridiculous.
You feel for the OKC beat jacket?
He's starting with WCJ shade, and then he's calling everyone in the Northeast, this person, crazy for living there. Thanks, Peach. But yeah, I am a little crazy. I do want to move. I want to move somewhere warmer. It's in the cards. All right, it's in the plan.
No, see, you at least want that, and there are a number of people who at least do aspire to that.
Yeah,
they may not do it, but they at least like in their heart of hearts, they go, yeah, it probably would be better, you know. But like, if you're one of those people that doesn't want to do that, I just don't.
It's those stubborn skiing whites, dude. The skiing whites, they love it. They do the skiing and they're cool. Shredding, you know, that stuff.
Up until you just said that, everybody thought we were the skiing whites, but just want to make it clear we're not those people.
Okay, how am I feeling, Peach? Well, I've been up and down second cousins. It's been kind of crazy pendulum. I think I'm getting hit a little bit by work, just a lot, feeling overwhelmed in that respect. But I have a picture of, and this is from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's Twitter, so these are his feet at a basketball, and the reason is I'm actually wearing right now, I got some new basketball kicks. Okay, they're not the Paulos. We're going to talk about those in a second. These were the cheapest ones. They were $65. They're LeBrons, but my cat pissed on my old ones, and you know,
I'll do that.
And so I needed a new pair for a while, and I haven't been balling, but I just got a pair, and I started getting out. I got some run with the high school team at the school I teach at. And it's feeling good to just get into that into that routine again, and getting some jogging happening and that type of stuff. Because I've been doing the rock climbing, but you don't get that cardio, and it just helps to raise my spirits to get out there and play a game, especially with the teenagers, and it's just fun. And it's recapturing some of that childhood joy that I think I lose sometimes when I get into the humdrum of, oh man, all the pressure of being a teacher, and I have to do all this stuff, and I have to, you know, all that adult stuff. I forget. Let me not speak for anyone else out there, but it's nice to recapture that joy, Peach. So I got the new kicks, and I'm going to be doing it.
Those are good looking. I like the look of those. You probably should have left out that they were LeBrons, because I know some people are anti-LeBron. But hey, a good shoe for 60, a good sneaker that fits in our sizes, up in the big man size. Any shoe under $80 that you think you're going to be comfy in, you got to go with.
It's in our color wave too. It's that royal blue.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so we're good. You know.
No, you did well. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. I am so excited now, second cousins, because it has been a while, to my chagrin, that we have gotten the wise words from the pontificating Peach, and it is back. Peach has been watching the hoop now that football season is over. He has tons of knowledge in that dome of his that he keeps warm with that trusty cap, and he is about to bestow it upon us. I can't freaking wait, Peach. It's what I learned. Peach, what did you learn in watching some of these recent games?
Well, first off, I just learned that was a hell of an intro right there, sir. And I know for a fact he didn't have that plan, so that was all off the top of the head. He doesn't get enough credit for that, folks, but once in a while, he kind of usually writes all of his stuff down. I pick on him for it. That was all off the top of the head. That was live one time, and you got to appreciate that. So that's what I learned right there. Magic taking on the Hawks, first game out of the break. This was a weird game because I felt like it was close and it shouldn't have been. The Hawks roster seems like they're in a little bit of a disarray, trying to figure out who fits where now. Terrence Mann is on the Hawks. I didn't realize that, but there he is. I've always liked Terrence Mann's game. I would like to see him trying to score points for us, but we never seem to want to be interested in picking him up. The Zachary Risache, I'm thinking I don't understand what his skill set is really. He kind of reminds me of Gabby Reese on the floor, but a little less Gabby Reese off the floor. So like he's not worth a follow on Instagram. Um, hopefully he develops for his sake. You see, he's real bouncy, right? He's great at grabbing rebounds, but he's missing a lot of bunnies up close. The number 1 overall pick, ladies and gentlemen, number 1. Like the NBA doesn't sell him as the number 1 pick. They almost like when they treated Paolo when he came in the league, like just kind of like, oh yeah, they got a number 1 pick down there, but yeah, we don't care about them. But rightfully so in his case, because he doesn't seem too impressive, at least in the little bit I've seen of him so far this year. But hopefully he'll develop. Dyson Daniels looks nice. I'm excited for his game. He's very defensive, but he looks like he can maybe has a little more scoring touch. He reminds me a little bit. He's a little Jalen Suggs in him, but a little bit taller. Definitely a defender to be feared, probably one of the better perimeter defenders. But they just don't have a lot of scoring, right? It's going to be Trae Young, so you're like, whatever. First quarter got out bad for us, 33-21, and we had 6 points at the end to close. Just awful. 0 of 7 from three-pointers in the quarter. Just a terrible, terrible start for us. I was getting the vibes of like, oh, shoot, why am I watching the team again? Because their record had been crap this year when I watch. And I was like, well, it's happening. In the second quarter, they challenged a block shot Goga had, but it was a goaltend. And it clearly was a goaltend. I just don't understand challenges in the second quarter over a 2-point shot. I understand it could take points off the board, but in that case, I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to do it then. You can't always just be reacting to the players doing this. They want everything recalled. You as the coaches need to realize, oh, I got to hone this in. I got to save that. I might need that in the second half. And I can't waste it here over 2 points. It just doesn't make sense. Great comeback by us in that quarter. Franz had 14. I believe Paolo had 18 in the quarter. Something crazy like that. And just a good comeback to make it a game, and just kind of was like, maybe like, okay, all right, we're coming back. Here we go. Guys are starting to gel. 3 more threes we finally got in the third quarter. It just, I don't know. I don't know where all the threes are. It's KCP, it's Paolo, it's TDS. I just don't think teams view us as a team that can shoot the 3, and I don't know why anyone would ever run out on us at all. Just play all inside. I've got more on that later. So if you don't like hearing about 3-point shooting, tune out now, because there's going to be a lot more of that in the next few minutes. But it's part of the story. AB, I thought, played real well in this game. Anthony Black was annoying Trae Young, forced him into some dumb fouls and some dumb turnovers. I really enjoyed what he was doing, and for a team that, and this is part of a larger point, is really not changed that much over the course of the season. The one thing I am seeing is better things from AB. So I like what I'm seeing from him, because I'd like to see him be our eventual starting point guard somehow, and then actually have a shooting guard that scores points. Crazy me. I don't understand why Gary Harris is getting minutes. They did solve that in the next game. I will say that, but I'm just not 100% sure why he's in there. He's just there sometimes. The frizzy-haired douche, Trae, he hits Goga right in the batates, and doesn't get the flagrant foul, when that's what the flagrant foul has been put in for, is plays like that, guys getting kicked or hit below the belt. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, Trae was just reaching out in front of him, but because he's so short and Goga's got his batates at an eye level for him, he got hitting him. I still feel like that should have been one of those fouls, but that was during that time frame when AB was really getting into his head, and it was messing him up. And he went and did stupid things like that. He got like 4 fouls in like, I don't know, like a 4-minute span or something like that. I mean, that's crazy for a guy who's supposed to be a star of your team. And every time that you guys out there in the Magic community go, we got to get this Trae Young guy in here. And look, he can shoot the 3. I'll give him that. But he's not the best teammate for dudes. He's a high turnover guy. He's good at shooting the 3, but he's a ball dominant guy. He needs the ball in his hands. And we've already made it very clear that we want the ball in Paolo and Franz's hands. So you can't have a point guard that's got to be that ball dominant. I just don't think he'd be a good fit for our team. Although it's hard to not acknowledge his 3-point shooting. Although in this game, he did not do well. And honestly, he shot under his percentage for the game. He still had 38 points. He was 4 for 13 from 3, which is 30%. Keep that in mind. 30% from three, which is under his normal average. If he'd hit one or two more, he would have been over his regular average, and then the Hawks probably would have won the game. With 5 minutes to go, I don't know what happened, but there were back-to-back possessions where we decided we got to get the ball to WCJ. And I was like, no, we don't. Let's not get it into him. Everybody cleared out, got it to him in the post. It was like, that's all right. And then, he's wide open in the corner for three. He wasn't really that wide open. It's like, hey, when we get under 5 minutes, the ball's got to be in Paolo's hands or Franz's hands. I mean, in a tight game like that, that's what those positions are for. You pass it to the wide open guy if you draw double or triple coverage, for sure. Oh, we'll get to that before we're done as well. But then we finally got a couple of threes as Cole Anthony dropping one and Paolo dropping one at a key moment in this game. We did not shoot well from three for the game, but two big ones at the end got it done. That's part of this bigger overall. That's an important part of our game. I actually am kind of enjoying Cole Anthony in the starting lineup because Cole Anthony likes to score the basketball. Is his defense good? Nope. But he can score the basketball. He had 17 points in this game. He had 17 points in the game I'm about to talk about. That's what you need from a guy who comes in. And sure, it hurts us on the bench unit because now we don't have as much scoring there. But at least he's producing and getting minutes, which is great because he was slumping a little earlier this season. So it's good to see him out of that. And the Magic hang on. Paolo with 36, 10, and 5. An incredible night for him. Franz with 25. WCJ, I'll give him his flowers. 9 points, 15 boards. Pretty typical stat line from him, right around that double-double thing, which kind of is a little deceiving for some with the amount of minutes he gets. You'd think he should be able to do that easily. Cole with the 17, as I mentioned, in that one. So then you got anything you'd like to say on Magic Hawks quick before I move on?
That was fantastic. I do like Risa Shea, though. I will say that. He's like he gives me like Franz Light vibes. Like he has some of that, and he's bouncy. He can shoot the ball. I like him. He's quiet. He's not the number one pick that you maybe wanted, but he's going to be a player for a long time. I like that. And I don't know how we've talked already about the Trae Young thing, so I don't need to harp on that at all. We'll talk about that in the offseason.
Okay. All right. It would be nice to get some of the mystery calls that he gets when he drives into the lane and just throws the ball around, gets a foul call. It's pretty crazy. All right. So then the Magic played the Grizzlies, and my computer is deciding to remind me about Dropbox right now, which is not a sponsor, so I'm closing that. Don't block my stuff. So then we got to play in the Grizzlies back home in Orlando. This game I didn't make as many specific notes on, but I did want to say that I do think it's very Bush League and very G League of the Memphis Grizzlies to have their name under their number on the back of their jersey. I just think that's not an NBA thing. The name goes up over the top. That's where it belongs. I understand you want to do it for a stylized jersey, but that's just what they've chosen. I feel like that's incorrect. They have Luke Kennard is on this team, and I was having a solid debate with myself internally, wondering whether he knows about farming or Pokemon. One of the two things he's an expert on. I don't know which. You can just tell by looking at a guy. You're into one of these things. Maybe both. Maybe he was out hunting for Pokemon while also rolling hay or running the combine. I don't know, but he looks like a guy who knows about farming is what I'm saying. Also got to learn about the man named Gigi Jackson, who if you would have asked me beforehand, I would have been like, yeah, she's in it in the women's division of the NXT. Apparently it is not who that is, and it is another Jackson, and not to be confused with the other Jackson that they have. The rumor has it that they're trying to trade for Justin Jackson, Andre Jackson Jr., and Trace Jackson Davis so they can have their own Jackson 5. All right. This is a game of runs, a lot of back and forth runs here and there. One of the things I really noticed that the Grizzlies did is at one point when we were up about 11 or 12 in the second quarter, they just like hit 4 threes in this short span led by the man Gigi Jackson. And it was sort of like, man, in just 4 attempts up and down the court, they just erased that lead. And that would have taken us 5 or 6 times to do because we're never shooting 3-pointers. It's just sort of like, it's the modern NBA. We're going to get to this in a minute. I swear to God, I'm building a narrative here. Towards the end of this game, we have the ball. We can score. And we miss a shot. Cole Anthony grabs a rebound. Little man loving to rebound. He gets the ball back out, and Paolo shoots up an almost immediate 3.
Yeah.
After a little juke, he was kind of open, but it was sort of like, oh, hey, man, we could hold for last shot there. Or, you know, don't do that. Like that's not a strength of our game, as we've discussed, and we'll discuss more in a minute. And he just kind of guns it up. But it was like, damn. But when they foul the guy, he only hits one free throw. So, okay, now we got plenty of time. But as he misses the second free throw, oh no, he didn't hit either free throw. And as he missed the second free throw, Paulo gets the ball, just decides I'm pushing it like it's a college basketball game. I'm not going to use our timeout. I'm going to run into 3-4 men in the middle and just throw up garbage. And the game ends. And it was like, what just happened there? Because that's not really basketball. And it was, I need your thoughts on it, because I've lived with mine for 24 hours now and I'm pissed.
Yeah, I actually had a snafu and I thought the game was at a different time for some reason. So I didn't watch it live, but I went back and watched that part of it. And there was, Coach Mosley took the fall for it, but yeah, he needs to call the timeout. I like you said, I don't understand why Paolo doesn't want to get into that paint on that three. I think also Philip from Orlando Magic Daily pointed out it's odd. Like that 3-point shot that Franz took, he had a wide open look and then he like dribbled in and then did a step back to make a more difficult shot. And we're not taking the wide open shot and we're making things more difficult in an area that's already our weakness. It was a confuddling end to a disappointing game, I would say.
I mean, Paolo is going to get a ton of attention, especially if he's driving to the rim with the game on the line. He has to be smart enough to be able to find someone open. You can't tell me there wasn't anybody else open on that. He just went in. It almost was like he was trying to get a foul call and stuff like that. And it's just like, hey, set up a play. Like any NBA team has a much better chance of scoring with that much time left on the clock with a timeout. I thought he was just going to push it over half and then call that timeout. And it seemed like he was trying to catch him off guard. And that's great if it works. But when it didn't work, you still had time to go ahead and call that timeout and set something up so that someone could get an open look instead of what we got. And if it's just this one time that this happens, then it's okay. But I don't want to see Paolo feeling like everyone's on my shoulders. I have to do this. I'm the guy. Because even Michael Jordan was smart enough to know when to pass to John Paxson and he's wide open for three, right? So part of being great is realizing make the other players around you great as well. Trust what they can do. Now, to be fair, I'm about to contradict that because we don't have any players that hit 3-pointers. And it's goddamn embarrassing. And as a fan, it's embarrassing to sit down and watch a game when you know that the 3-pointer is a key part of the NBA these days. And we are shooting it at a 30% clip, which is worst in the league. Bottom worst in the league. 30% for the year. In these last two games, we shot 26%. So it was below that. We somehow were in both these games, winning one of them with that being the case. Now, the other teams didn't shoot the three ball well either. We talked about Trae Young not shooting the ball well. We actually outshot the Grizzlies from 3-point. They were 7 of 33. We were 9 of 31. If they would have just hit one more or been closer to their regular season average, we don't win this game. So we didn't win this game, but it wouldn't have been as close. So we can't always rely on our defense being so awesome from the 3-point line that the other team can't shoot, because most teams can shoot it at a much higher clip. And something needs to give in this realm. But to finish off that Magic Grizzlies game, Franz 25, Paolo 21, WCJ with 10 and 11. He's right there again. He's doing his thing. And then Cole with 17 again. Their bench outscored us 41-22, and that was a big part of the difference in this one. I need you to put up the 3-point graphic right now, and let's just start discussing this. Because for me, what's concerning is that, as you can see here, Kirk Goldsberry put this up. But at first, I thought I was looking at an MRI scan of a brain. And then I realized that I'm looking at the shot chart from the NBA of 2004-05 season to today. And that top one was 20 years ago, and that bottom one is what it is now. And it's just, if you look at this and you think about the Orlando Magic and you really watch what we're doing, we're not shooting a lot from the outside and we're not shooting well. So we're only shooting from that spot in the key, right? Which is good if you can get to it. But teams know that, and they're just going to pack it in, right? So when we're playing good teams that are sound and well coached, we're not going to be able to compete until we start being able to hit from that outer rim. That's all red and yellow for a reason, people. Like, that's the modern NBA. Look, I'm an old school guy. I used to bring a man on the show all the time that was called the Old Man on the porch, and he would bitch about stuff and how
Bring
there
him
wasn't enough
back.
and shit, and how everybody's traveling and stuff like that. And you know what? He's right. But you know what also is happening? The 3-point line is important to today's modern NBA game, and our team can't shoot it. And for the last couple of years now, we've shown we're not going to make moves at the deadline. We're going to maybe pick up one free agent in the offseason, and then we're just going to hope guys grow. So that's getting hard to watch as a fan, because if you don't see a lot of guys really starting to grow hard, like,
oh yeah, you got to grow hard.
Poor choice of words there, but you know what I mean. Look, if you want to score, you got to get hard, baby. The point is that like we don't, without that growth from underneath, like without TDS becoming a big time player, or without AB becoming a major contributor. I mean, Paolo's grown pretty far. Can he go further? I don't know. It's just sort of like at some point you need to shake things up. That's why a lot of us are frustrated at the trade deadline when we do nothing, when we have such a glaring hole. You're last in the NBA. 30% is bad. Okay. And we didn't do that in these last 2 games either. So I just don't get how we're not, it's getting hard as a fan to keep watching the same thing. So basically what I learned is stuff I already knew, Kyle. I watched 2 games and I didn't really feel like I learned anything I didn't already know when I was watching just highlights or catching up with the game in a few minutes here and there, looking at the box score. The box scores look similar. Some of the names change, but the scoring is still, I mean, Wendell's still doing his thing. Like, you know what I mean? There's no difference. And unless the other team falters in some sort of scoring area, like a guy has a bad game, maybe somebody's hurt or injured, it's not going to go well for us. And I don't think that we can keep having these expectations of being the 3rd, 4th, or 5th team in the East as we had at one time anymore. I think we need to just maybe lower those expectations and hope we can get into that, stay out of the play-in. But yeah, it's tough. And hopefully this offseason something changes, because it's getting tough to watch this same team roll out there and the same shit happen every game.
And I know we're not quite in the social media roundup yet, Peesh. We will be going there in just a moment, but I did want to bring up this post from Orlando Magic HQ because it's connecting right to what you were talking about with the 3-point shooting woes. The Magic are just at the bottom. I mean, you can see the graphic, ladies and gentlemen. Middle of the range in terms of attempts, fine, but just bottom of the barrel, like so far below the Wizards, who are actively trying to suck. And it's just not a part of our game or our identity, and yet we are still having these almost 3-point shooting contests going down the stretch. And you just mentioned a Franz 3-point shot and a Paolo 3-point shot at the end of the game. And I know that teams are going to cram the paint on us, but hey, man, if that's where we're going to make our money, we just have to go harder at it. We have to have more movement to get guys better and easier looks at the basket, get the defense moving. I have more thoughts about the Paulo stuff, as I said, because I think he's the key cog in that type of motion. But yeah, man, it's the same old song, and it sucks to sing it again. So that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about 3-point shooting for the rest of the show, Peesh.
Well, I can't make that same claim. But the one guy we did bring in, we were talking about our team and how we're built. The one guy we brought in, KCP, we thought was going to be able to hit threes at a good clip and would be a scoring factor for us. And he really hasn't been there. He'll make one from time to time. But to be honest, in those 2 games when I'm watching KCP out there, I'm kind of like, he's not jumping off the mat to me. He's there. He plays some pretty good defense. I got a turnover here and there, but like he's not jumping off the page like the one guy you brought in free agency should. That was supposed to be a big swing, kind of a big swing for us. Mm-hmm. That was, okay, here's a guy we're going to bring in, make our starter. And he's not, he's just there.
Well, it's clear now. It's clear now that Weltman's gamble on the internal growth thing didn't pay off. It was a gamble that he made, and it didn't pay off. And it's not really even having any of the other tertiary benefits of, hey, let's put Jalen Suggs in a position he's maybe not suited for at the point guard. Let's kind of force Paolo and Franz to continue to do all of the playmaking because so many guys have been injured. So those guys haven't gotten a lot of reps. And hey, we got 24 more games. But where the hell is Jalen Suggs? That's a whole other thing. We're not even talking about this on this show. But holy crap, I'm worried. It was the back. Now it's the quad or the thigh. He looks fine. He's jumping up and down on the sidelines, Peach. I don't know if you noticed that. This man is getting height on the bench. He looks good in his sweatsuit. He's fine. I'm like, can you get in there, Jalen? Because you're very animated over there on the side, friend.
Yeah, he's on that JI plan some of a few years ago. Yeah, it's just weird I mean, I love the vibes of the team and I'm glad everybody gets alongs and stuff, but let's be honest. Back in the day, I used to go out and play at the park with my friends, and like, God bless them, most of my friends aren't good at playing basketball. And if I threw them the ball for a three-pointer and they were open, I'd be like, shoot it, because you know what? It doesn't matter. It's a game of playground game. We're playing to 11. We're playing to 21. We're all going to go home. It's no big deal, right? We're
Eat
all
some
going to
ice
have a
cream.
juice box
Yeah.
afterwards. It's going to be a good time. Pass by the purple stuff. Give me the Sunny D. But the point is that you can't always ball with your friends. At some point, you can ball with people you like, but you can't always ball with your friends just because the vibes are good. Sometimes you need to bring in better players that actually can win and do stuff. And as good as the vibes are for the Magic, which I think they might be amongst the best in the league, or at least on the other end of the spectrum as the 3-point shooting, at some point they got to go, hey, some of these guys we like, we need to trade so that we can get a little closer to that middle. Because in these last two games we saw, at the end of the game against the Hawks, we hit 2 threes, and that won us the game. And at the end of the other game, we missed 2 threes, and that lost us the game. So we're not a good 3-point shooting team, and if it comes down to that, expect more L's.
Womp womp. Okay, all right. Let's pick it up with some positivity, can we please, Peach? In the social media roundout, you tell me where we're going first. This
just throw away all my notes so we can go to the positive stuff. Out here, notes.
Just speak from the heart from now on, Peach. Actually, maybe not. Maybe don't do that. Just lie to me.
Okay. Well, I'm about to lie about these shoes, I think.
All right, well, let's go into the shoes. Let's not bury the lead here. Paolo Banchero. This is from Soul Retriever. Awesome name for a shoe seller. Jumpman Jordan Brand announces the release of Paolo Banchero's Air Series. It's now available for purchase, I believe. The colorway pays homage to his mother, former WNBA player Rhonda Banchero, his grandmother, and the Rotary Boys and Girls Club, where he grew up playing basketball. So that's pretty sick. I think it's the first. Maybe that's a lie. The Jumpman, the Jordan logo, is a female. I don't know if that's the first time that's been done on a male star sneaker. I think it probably has. I don't know if they've been doing it in the WNBA for a while, but they're sleek looking. They're cool.
This is news to me. I didn't know that was a woman in there.
Yeah. They're dope. I went with the other brand because these are way out of my price range right now, but maybe down the road I'll get them. It's exciting to see that Paolo is, when people look at him, they see the superstar that we see of who he can grow into. It's really nice to have a player on the team, maybe anointed's not the right word, but that's kind of what it is, by Jordan, saying like, hey, this is one of the guys that we believe in. He did have a little like day in the life of Paolo out there that Anscape put out. Go check it out. It's like a 10-minute video. He talks about hanging out with Michael Jordan at the NCAA men's national football championship game and him rooting for University of Washington, and Jordan clowning him for that and telling his associate to hold his paycheck for the next week. But Paolo, I have seen that he can be the guy to lead the team. Before I get into some of my Paolo on the court stuff, Peach, do you want to talk about the shoes off the court first?
Yeah, I mean, I don't love the shoe. I don't hate it. I've seen worse for sure. I guess the colorway is important to him, which I did not learn until this post came out. But I don't like it when guys wear, like a guy on the Lakers wearing red shoes. It's like, hey man, no, stop it. You can go black, white, yellow, purple. You got some choices, but that ain't one. So I don't love the way these would look with any of our uniforms, but I understand it's for a different reason. Just back in the day when guys would come out with a signature shoe, it would come out in a couple different colors.
Oh, there are a couple different colors for this.
Okay. Well, it's all right, but shoes don't usually blow my mind. They're just usually like good or okay, or I wouldn't cop those. And these are fine, but yeah, I never overpay for shoes, as we discussed earlier. So gonna have to wait till he comes out with like the Palo 3 to get the Palo 1s.
Second cousins new to the show. We are, as you know, Peach has a storied history. He's a aficionado of uniforms. It's not uncommon to see Peach at game full uni. Actually, it would probably be more uncommon to see you at a game not full uni, I would say. And
well,
you,
now I have to go full uni.
And you observe strict rule. There's strict guidelines and nuances to.
I have a pair of black and blue shoes that I made a long time ago, Nikes, that I keep just for matching my uniform. I wouldn't wear something else.
That's the level of dedication we need, ladies and gentlemen. But I do want to talk. I want to use this as a little way to kind of talk about Paolo's play on the court as of late, and this is something that you brought up in your What I Learned. But, hey, do I believe, let me start this, do I believe that Paolo is an all-star and can be an all-NBA guy? Yes, I do. Can I also say that he's struggling this year and it's not kind of that third-year jump that I was expecting? I think that's fair too, right? Paolo's efficiency is down this year. He's taking some of the most unassisted shots in the league, which tells me, he's having to create and do everything. He's getting hard shots. And like you said in the What I Learned, he's running into like 2-3 bodies almost every single time. And that's where I'm hoping that these last 24 games, we see a little of what we've seen before with Paolo. And what I'm talking about is that calmness under pressure. We've seen before the Paolo getting double teamed, maintaining the dribble, or looking slowly, surveying the court and making a great pass. And I thought we would see more of that this year. I really believe that triple doubles are something that Paolo Banchero can have a ton of in this league. And so that's where I'm most disappointed so far, because I thought I would see more of that playmaking and more of that steady-handedness. And instead, I'm seeing kind of a more frantic version, more erratic version of Paolo, especially since he came back from the injury, just kind of loose dribbling, more turnovers, running into walls without a plan, looking a little Jalen Suggsy to me at times. Because and then there's also like just the numbers of it, right? His effective field goal percentage is back to rookie levels. His free throw percentage is way down, although he is getting to the line one more time per year than last year. The three-point shooting is now below 30% this year. His field goal percentage is just under 42% from the field. And that's okay sometimes when you can be a charity stripe assassin, but shooting 66% from the free throw line is not going to compensate for that many missed shots. He's getting more shots, but he's not making more than he has in the past. And so I think there's definitely grounds for critique. I think Paolo would be his hardest critic. So I'm not saying anything that he doesn't know. And look, I will hedge all of this, Peach, because, got to hedge everything, baby. There's only been 24 games this season, and a big chunk of that is 35 with injury. So, 24 games that he's played, still a small sample size. We got 24 left, so he's going to play a little more than half of the season this year. Let's see how he ends out, but I do want to see him looking for the other guy more, like you said, Peach, like getting into drawing those double teams and then understanding, let me move the ball. And he's probably dealing with some of that. At least I would imagine I would be in his situation. Well, I'm passing the ball and dudes aren't making it, so I need to do it. But I think it's a chicken and the egg situation. If he's feeling like he needs to do everything, he's forcing things, guys are just standing around, not involved in the offense, he's missing shots, and then when they get a rare opportunity, they're going to miss the shot. Versus if he's moving the ball, people are getting better shots, things are happening, people are moving around him, and the percentages would go up. I'm optimistic still. I'm definitely keeping all the stock on Paolo Banchero. This is not like an alarm in any way, shape, or form, but it is a reality of our team. He's the best player or one of the best two players on our team, and how he and Franz go, the team goes for the most part, and the team has not been going well this year. So he's got to take some blame for that and turn it around. And he can do it, man. He's built for this moment. He's a unique type of cat for sure.
Well, it's tough. I'm glad that you said the thing about the 24 games because stuff got in my ear while you were going on your rant saying, hey, he's only played in 24 games. And I think he's only played in about he only played 5 games before he went out, right? Was it 5 or 6? So he hasn't even played 20 games consecutively yet. So, sometimes it takes you a little while to get rolling. And when you take a look at his points per game, he's still at 23, which is over what he's done in his first 2 seasons. So, yes, he hasn't done it as efficiently, but he's still delivering. He's still right there. He's up in rebounds. His assists are down a little bit. His steals down a little bit. But, he's still finding his feet. And after 24 games of all that time off, I'm not that concerned about that. What I am concerned about is when I do look at it these 3 seasons, assuming he had played the whole time to this point, first year, 20 points a game, next year, 22.6, this year, 23. I think we were all hoping he was going to get up over 25 this year.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just settling into this realm of here, which doesn't put you at a him status. It puts you as a guy status, but not a him. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping he's going to be a him because we need a him. And it could be Franz as well, but it does start to make sometimes that's why stats are fun when you look at them and you see the consistency and then you go, oh, that's who that guy is. We just talked about it with Wendell, right? Oh, 9 and 11, 10 and 15. That's it, right?
Well,
anything else is
good. I'll take that. He's more like 9 and 8, Pish.
But that's true. But averages are averages for a reason. And then if you're 1 or 2 points over them, it's not that big a deal. You're still in your realm. But hopefully his averages will continue to come up. But he does remind me a little bit of a younger LeBron on some not as talent-laden Cavaliers teams, passing the ball to guys that he doesn't always believe in to get things done. So he tries to do too much himself. And that's what makes us frustrated when we don't see them even trying somebody new in the lineup or trying to find a way to get a new person in that lineup to switch things up. It's not always about injuries. We've had a lot of that this season with 3 main guys out for a long period of time. And I think that's a large part of why our record is as low as it is, but it doesn't erase any of the problems that team had, which are still existing. So hopefully it doesn't stunt Paolo's growth and he doesn't get off his game. I know he's got a good head on his shoulders. So I feel like if anybody's ready to equip and bounce back from this, that'll be him. So if this ends up kind of being a down year for the team, I still feel like it puts us in a good position to bounce back next year because that guy will be working hard in the gym to make sure that he's not perceived like that guy he was the other night at the end of that game.
Okay, Pish. Now it's time to go into the only All-Star talk of this show because we haven't done anything since the All-Star break, and we'll bring up the most important All-Star to the second cousins here and to Pish's heart. There she is.
Of course.
I have to give you the
5-time NBA All-Star Corey. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I texted this to you right away and said it's sad that our most decorated All-Star is Corey. It's great for her. Love her. But it's not great for the team that she has so many All-Star nods. And then our second best one would then be 3-time dunk champions Mac McClung, who is not in the league either. So the 2 most popular people for the Magic at NBA All-Star Weekend do not put the ball on the floor on a regular basis. Not awesome. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts of anything going on All-Star?
It was a while ago, so I won't talk about it too much, but I do want to mention here, Pish over here breaking news, right, with his tweet right next to Shams. I mean, they're mind meld pretty much. Their phones are connected, it must be.
Yeah, sometimes you're just plugged in like that. Or maybe sometimes this is my Twitter feed. But Mac jumping over the car, very impressive. I got to say that dunk competition looked like 1 guy versus 3. The other guys, it's like they didn't know what they were going to do there. And clearly Mac did. I feel like he won it on experience alone.
Yeah, definitely. He's got it down, and I'm happy for him. It's awesome to see a guy in a Magic jersey winning something and being he's the most decorated dunk contest winner now, the only guy with a 3-peat. That's pretty damn impressive. I mean, the only thing, like you said, Pish, is he doesn't do anything on the NBA floor for us. And there's a whole argument about, hey, maybe he should. And I'll talk about that in a second, but this is a larger conversation with the NBA dunk contest. Let's get our stars back. Where are you, stars? Where's this generation of stars wanting to compete in this? And bring their star power to the event. It's great because Mac McClung is a tremendous performer, and the dunks that he does are so clearly well thought out. You probably wouldn't get that level with NBA players because they're going through the grueling season, and this isn't like their pinnacle thing. You got to feel like Mac McClung, this is one of his moments every single year where he can make his bread now for the rest of his life. One of the most decorated champions. That's serious business. He's been planning this. I guarantee you, if you're getting guys, right from the league, they're not doing the same thing. So maybe you won't have as crazy dunks, but you'll have your guys in there, and you won't have G League players. And it's just, it doesn't even with a Magic player in it, I didn't have the desire to really watch it because it didn't have that, what's the word I'm looking for? That cachet that you have when you have stars in there. And I don't know. There's a lot to be said about the All-Star break, but I'll just say that part of it because that's the thing that the Magic had a connection to. You got to get your guys back in.
Yeah, I mean, it should be just a selection of guys who were selected to be in the All-Star game. That should be the guys that have a shot. So does that open it to the rising stars? Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
But make them guys that the league is trying to push so that we know who they are instead of the big white gangly guy that couldn't dunk from the Bulls. Like, that didn't really work to get him over. Like let's just
Buzelis.
Yeah, we don't want to have to Google all the guys in the contest. It should be household names. And then I feel like, there was more star power at the judges table than there's been in the dunk competition for the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, I think we need more of that. But what do you think about the Mac McClung should get minutes on the main squad? He's over here dropping 30, doing 360 layups through the lane in the G League, kind of just playing it like it's almost a pickup game the way the numbers he's putting up. And we could use some more playmaking to help Paolo and Franz not create. That's what Cole's been doing a little bit, Anthony Black, but we need another guy who can get the defense rotating and on their heels a little bit to generate some more open looks. Is he a guy that you think should be getting some time for real? Is that a real thing?
I do. I know he's not going to because his game is a lot like Markelle Fultz's game, and they got rid of Markelle Fultz because he could create too much and he needed the ball and he would drive in and kick to open guys. But we don't have guys that can shoot. Mac can shoot the three pretty well. He can fill it up. Mac's defense is not there. So without defense, he's not going to get up on the court. And being a ball dominant point guard, he's not going to get on because he just doesn't fit the mold. I don't know why we re-signed him knowing we weren't going to use him. Because if he should be playing, it should be now. We're down a guard. We're down Suggs. We could use some ball handling. He can do that stuff. I don't understand why we don't give him a shot. We know he can shoot. He checks some boxes. But again, I don't know why we didn't bring Markelle back either. Because Markelle could score in bunches and he could do some things. Coach doesn't seem to like guys that do that kind of stuff. So, sorry. Oh, yeah, you scored a lot of points? We're not interested. You can't play defense, so sorry.
Well, we've teased it enough. Let's give some praise to Markelle getting signed by the Sacremento Kings. Good for you, young man. And, now this gives a little extra juice to Court Cousins night. I hope to see you down there Saturday, March 29th, because we're going to be watching our Magic take on the Kings, and that will be kind of fun. I have a soft spot in my heart for Markelle. I always loved his game. Thought he was just kind of a savant with the basketball and the irky-jerky way that he would operate through the lane. I really wished it was going to and hoped that it was going to work out for the Magic, but he just had too much difficulty staying on the court and staying productive. And I wish him all the best in Sacramento. I just do not know what the hell they're doing in Sacramento. They're like, yeah, let's trade away our star and become a worse version of the Bulls because that's been really good for them the last 4 years. They've just been middling in the play-in. Let's get DeMar DeRozan, who doesn't shoot threes, mid-range. Let's get Markelle in here. He can't shoot. We'll just clog everything up, and it's going to go great. It's not going to go well, Kings. I don't know what they did there. Zach LaVine.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Like we talked about it on the trade deadline wrap-up. other teams are doing stuff. The NBA is kind of interesting with the other teams and what they're doing. The Magic didn't do anything, so they kind of fall into about where they're shooting 3-point wise in league conversation because nothing's changed down there. But all the other teams, there's some exciting things going on, shaking stuff up. The dumbest trade in NBA history with Luka Doncic. So I mean, like, it's interesting, and it gets me motivated to see some ball and watch some ball. And then I watch our team play a couple games, and I'm like, well, this is still the same stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like the rest of the league changes, not just in where they shoot their ball from, but, just they change faces on the team. It's part of the modern NBA, and we're just not a part of it right now, feels like.
We're winning with defense and field goals, baby. That's what we're going to do. But that's why Markelle's perfect for the team. Like, shouldn't we? We need to bring him back. We need another guy who can't shoot. Come on, Markelle.
I can shoot in the mid-range, but they don't want that.
No. Well, you teased it here, and you're in Dallas. So, what's the update with Nico Harrison? Is he still vertical? Is he alive still? Are there pitchforks outside of his home?
As far as we know at this point.
Yeah.
There's people are anti him. Still a lot of signs, T-shirts being made. People are getting kicked out of games for having the T-shirts, the signs. That one guy got kicked out for just voicing it. He was doing a lip sync, and then he lip synced "Fire Nico," and they kicked him out of the game for that. So, like, there's a real divide right now between what's going on there and the fans, and it's just, this is how not to make a big trade. Big stars have gotten traded before, and fans revolt for a little while, but eventually it dies down. But it won't die down. They refuse to let it go. They're pissed, partly because the main part that they traded for got hurt immediately in the first game. Nothing on the court to replace Luka Doncic at all, except for Max Christie, who, to be fair, is playing pretty well. But they've lost sight of it a little bit. I see it. It's not on here, so I just will mention that if Dallas fans want to keep their head above water, just know Kyrie Irving's a good dude. Get behind this man and what he's doing, because he's the new face of the franchise. Just is what it is. It's not, we don't have to like it, but it's not going to change.
They better hope he wants to even stay, because why would he want to? I mean, this is a sinking ship right now. With Anthony Davis going down, I think Gafford then went down. Like, anything that Nico Harrison was hoping would assuage everyone's anger with putting a good product and a defensive product, winning product on the floor, that's gone, because they did look good when Anthony Davis started playing that game against Houston. He was dominant. And I think if you had like 5 more games of that, people would have been like, this sucks, but this team could win. They could do some damage. Not happening now. And
now it's time for it. I mean, their fans are outside and they're calling for blood. And at this point, the team ought to just wave the white flag and go for Cooper flag, because there's just nothing good that's going to come out of this season, I don't think. So
no, they're too good now.
No, they were 10th in the West, I think, when this started. So I mean, they could get there.
Oh, okay, maybe then. All right, Peach. I mean, stuff's been there the whole time, and we've been kind of rude that we haven't even addressed it. We're filming this on his birthday. Happy birthday, Stuff. Woo!
Stuff. 38 years old now, Stuff. Not a white hair on him. He's aging gracefully.
As you would expect. I got to get a little birthday hat on. I'm going to watch the game after this. I'm interested, I'm excited for the broadcast, because there's going to be a bunch of amazing stuff happening. So I love the NBA package. Gives the feed. After we get off here, the Magic will be playing, and I am going to definitely be tuning in for that. He's a great mascot. You sometimes watch the feeds of other teams. I mean, when we went to Dallas, I don't even know who the mascot is, that horse, but he wasn't doing shit, man. And whoever it is behind that mask, or it's probably been a bunch of people along the way, they've been just carrying the Stuff flag and doing a hell of a job. So good on you, Stuff. Happy birthday.
Indeed. Well said. Is there any other social media roundup before we go? We missed one? Or?
Well, I mean, talking about social media, you have this post about the media here from Kapaya, demanding that the local media start really asking some tough questions and stop being so white glove with it, and ask, go deeper and get into the practices of, like, what is actually happening to address these, instead of just giving kind of these flowery, we're going to keep shooting with confidence. I just tell the guys to shoot with confidence. No. What are you doing in practice? Have we brought in any other shooting help? Like, what are the guys doing with this specifically? If we're going to have internal growth in this area, what exactly is happening to ensure that that goes down? And I think that's what Capaya is after, a little bit more hard hitting, like, hey, give us some accountability because things aren't going well. So someone needs to stand up and answer for this stuff.
Yeah, in all of media, I feel like it's a little too fluffy. They're trying to be friends with the team or involved with the team so much so they don't want to ask those hard-hitting questions. And then the ones who do sort of seem to get pushed out,
right,
or they're vilified for what they're doing. And it's like they're trying to get answers to questions that people have because people can't be in that room to ask those questions. That's what their job is.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to get stories that then are interesting for us to read. So they should be asking the questions that we want to see. That it's really that simple. And they don't always do it. And I would like to hear more verbiage that's like, hey, when these guys are shooting in practice, guys are going 8 for 10, 9 for 10 from 3-point. Go ahead, lie to me if you need to, but tell me that they're going down somewhere because they're not going down in a game.
Yeah.
So if you're not shooting for an entire practice and you can't shoot in the games, then I'm mad. If you're shooting in practice and it's still not falling, well, at least I know you're trying, you're doing all you can. The keep your head up only goes so far before you're kind of like, yeah, like I said earlier, all right, I like you guys, but you're going to have to sit down. I got to put some people in who can shoot threes now or are capable of making a jump shot. Like it is what it is.
I think who I'd want to grill most would be Weltman. I just want to know, he is the most close vested with this stuff too. He just gives these kind of vague, positive statements, which, is a good thing because we don't really leak stuff, how he keeps everything pretty tight. But on the same side, from a fan's perspective, I just want to know more. What was going into your thinking, bro? I know they would never tell us. So, Capaya, I'm sorry, I don't think these questions are ever going to get asked. But who was on the board for the trade deadline? Like, who were you looking at? Who were you trying to get? What assets were you really thinking about moving? They're never going to answer those questions in public. And so I think that's why a lot of times journalists kind of just have to ask what they know will be answered too, because sometimes you'll just get a non-answer, and that doesn't help a journalist either. So it's tough. These are private organizations. Like you said, they're kicking people out in Dallas. If someone's asking questions that they deem too deep or something they don't really want to talk about over and over again, that person's probably going to get alienated too.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the whole point of it was supposed to be real, and we're just looking to get real answers to questions, and it doesn't have to be so evasive. I mean, Weltman seems like he's got that politician vibe where he can just kind of swing his way out of any question by getting out of there easily, which is not a great look, right? Like you heard the rumors about people saying, oh, we can call the Magic and we'll have a serious talk, but they don't really seem like they're not calling us, and they're not like looking to move. And it's like, well, at some point you got to join the rest of the league and do some stuff like that. And I just wish we had a little bit more. This goes back to even when we had all the injuries and not knowing when guys were coming back and stuff like that. It's like, why are you afraid of giving us some information? I would rather have you give us the correct information than to have all of social media speculate here, people going down comment tunnels and just getting deep into what could be this, what could be that. Oh, I don't know. And it creates a lot of negativity in a fan base that you want to remain positive. So how about a little more transparency from y'all in the front office about what's up? Because that's all we're looking for, right? And we're not afraid to say it because we're not affiliated with you. We probably never will be because we ask these questions.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly right. And I think the accountability has to go up when you suck, right? That's when you need the most accountability. Although arguably the transparency should be there throughout, but this is when people really want it. All right, Peach. That has been a social media roundup. Right. It was girthy and it was large. And thank you, all of you second cousins out there, for all of your insights, your posits, and all of your posts about our beloved Orlando Magic. We're now going to go into that time of show, the large ending, Peach. Can you hit that button, sir? Oh, let Stuff do the honors. Yep. Birthday boy. There it is. Peach, you're up.
Yes. The Super Bowl came and went. Do you have any super thoughts about it?
No, I don't think I watched the second half. I don't even remember what I did. Well, I went over to Jake's house.
Nothing.
Just had some wings and some camaraderie and left at halftime and didn't watch the halftime show, and then I was done. I did like the halftime show. I like that Kendrick did something artistic, although I couldn't really understand what he was saying. Like, I don't know Kendrick Lamar like that, so like all of his lyrics, so I couldn't really hear the lyrics of the song as he was performing them, but I liked the imagery of it. I thought it was cool. That's it. What about you?
I know
you
he's not
watch.
like us.
You didn't watch. Never mind. I know what you did. You got the Court
I didn't
Cousins
watch. I
eBay
checked it
store
out.
updated.
That's what I was doing during the Super Bowl. I was taking a negative into a positive. I missed nothing.
I know you were watching this, Peach, because I saw some of your reactions online. The Four Nations hockey tournament. I didn't watch. I'm sorry. I was intrigued though by all the headlines I was seeing. The Canadians booing the American national anthem. Then there was some real animosity. The United States beat Canada and then lost to them in the final. There was an awesome call by the coach for Canada, like, someone get fucking greedy and go score. McDavid, whatever, go score. And he scores on the next play. You are in an interesting position for this piece because our family's from northern Vermont, pretty much right on the line of Canada. So very much Quebecois up there, right? A lot of our parents grew up speaking French. So there was very much like French-Canadian identity. So how did you feel watching this experience? I mean, you must have been a little torn.
I've had to explain that same story to everybody because I root Canada for hockey. I always have. When we hosted something at UVM a long time ago, I was in charge of their locker room. They gave me a hat. I've got Team Canada jerseys. I'm not against the USA either, but if they play, I root for Canada in hockey. If they play in basketball, I root for the United States because I know how important hockey is up there to them.
Right,
it is
right.
everything. What basketball is to you, what football is to Texas, like all of Canada is to hockey. That win meant so much to that country versus the very small amount of people who cared about that in the U.S. Although it's growing, and it was great for the game because it got people interested. And at a time when the NBA had guys doing skills challenges where they're throwing balls off the rack to try to save time, the NHL's knocking it out of the park with something that everybody wanted to see. I actually thought it was a really pointless tournament, but everybody liked it. I was in the minority here. I just thought, don't put your players in important games during the NHL season because to me, the Stanley Cup is what matters. And I don't need to see my big stars fighting 9 seconds into a game. But
that was sick.
It worked for the fact that it got a lot of people interested in hockey that may not have been before. So for that reason, it was worth the price of the Charlie McAvoys and some of the guys that got hurt. It was worth it because you're getting the game out globally, and in a rare head-to-head win for the NHL, they pounded the NBA over that weekend. It was a bad weekend for the NBA with a really, really lackluster game nobody watched. So for that reason, it was good, and I'm glad that Canada won, but honestly, I'm just glad it worked out for them. It was a good tournament.
Yeah.
My question for you was going to be if you watched.
I did not. I'm sorry, Peach. I know I let the family down on that, but Giannis said it in one of his interviews during the All-Star break. He's like, yeah, I want the world versus the USA. We should do that in the All-Star game. Like, that should be the All-Star game. And maybe the NBA should just learn something from the Four Nations Cup and go that route. It might get some more eyeballs. And I think if they allowed fist fighting in the first minute, just like in the Four Nations, that might get some eyeballs too,
But it is difficult because it's like, as part of the hockey community, like we ended things early on Thursday night so people could go watch that game. Like, one of the guys that ended up getting called up for Team Canada because someone got injured, he skated on my ice like the day before and then flew out to join the team last minute and then got in the game, and now he won the gold medal and they won the cup.
Wow.
So there's a connection to it. We had, our goalie is the backup goalie for Team USA. We had 3 guys on the Finland team. Like, those are guys I see and work with every day. So it's a little more involved in where I'm at. So it was like, I didn't watch as much of it as you'd think I would, but it's hard not to pay attention at all because it's so big. It was on everyone's mind, and it was, it was great for hockey. So they're the real winner here.
Hell yeah. Well, I want to go from talking about two of the four major sports, to an obscure sport. Everyone's going to think I'm a LeBron stan. I got the shoes and I got this post here from TMZ that apparently LeBron is investing in it's like E1 sport boat racing or some shit. This is a league that occurs. And that's the same. I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds like a really rich ass person thing to do. But Peach, I was wondering, what obscure sport do you enjoy watching most, would you say? I'm thinking like maybe it's got to be around Olympics, like something that obscure.
Maybe not that obscure. I like tennis.
Oh, okay. That's obscure.
I'm down with tennis. It's I guess considered obscure despite being kind of world renowned popular. Sort of the same one is weirdly popular around the world, but like not that cool here, and actually not that cool in real life.
That's what I would be. Yeah.
I don't know what the step on both thing is, but did you hear that they also made there's like a second women's basketball league or something? They're like, oh, we're killing it with WNBA. Let's go ahead and start a second one. It's like, what are you doing?
When was that?
They're all different. I think it's like a 3-on-3 league or something.
Oh, yeah, the 3-on-3. Okay. Well, that might be the most obscure thing I watch. If I watch women's 3-on-3 basketball, that might be it. But I like curling in the Olympics. That shit is soothing. I don't know why.
That's fun, but to me, it's not a sport. Like, there's not a lot of things that aren't sport. Like, golf's not really a sport to me. It's an activity.
Golf is not a sport? Okay.
Bowling. Well, if you can do it while you're on the phone with somebody, like, it's not really a sport. Like, you need to be working up an actual sweat for a reason other than the fact that it's hot. Oh, well, we're not taking the cart today. We're going to walk, so it's a sport today. It's like, no. I like golf. Don't get me wrong. It's not really a sport. Like, I need you to sweat and move around and, like, work out for it. Fat guys can golf. Fat guys can play first base in baseball too. It's a borderline sport. You got to be able to. You got to have to be in shape or have some sort of particular skill. A lot of the track and field events are good because that's a skill and you're running. But you could be a fat javelin guy. I don't know. There's a lot of fringe sports now. Whatever this boat racing thing is, there's a lot of. Tiger Woods is doing an indoor golf league now. I don't know what the hell that is. People are throwing everything to the wall and hoping some stuff sticks, and I'm just like, old man on the porch.
Yeah.
good with my usuals.
Let us know in the comments if you want to see the old man on the porch back for a segment or in the show.
Now, I want to know what everybody else's favorite obscure sport is. Are they really into darts or some shit?
I have been playing a lot of darts with my buddy. I've been playing a lot of darts. My buddy Rob is really into it, and he's got special darts. And so he's been inviting me. I've been going to play. He's been practicing relentlessly. I haven't been going. I went just out of the blue and just crushed him. And it really hurt his soul. But it's got me an itch for darts.
Irish guy, good at a bar game. Wow. Crazy. Hey, since it's Stuff's birthday today, if you could give a gift to Stuff at all of anything, what would it be? Don't say more wins for the team, dude.
No. I mean, it's a dragon, right? He's a dragon at heart. Like, he's a fun-loving dragon. So, I mean, it would be sick if you got him, like, a really dope kite that he could maybe tie to his tail, and then, like, while he was flying, it would be behind him, and it could be pretty sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He's into it. He's willing to hear it. Yeah.
I don't know what I'd put on the kite. Maybe it had to be magic related, something cool, a magic kite.
Yeah. Or something asking for more noise or something.
Yeah. Or I could get him some stuff that would get him that high. I don't know. Could talk to Mello maybe.
A guy that was named after Puff the Magic Dragon, I'm sure has no problem in that department.
Right. Okay, well, I'll go to the last one here then, Peach. Someone who Yachty told me that the Puff in Connecticut must be really good because of the last 24 games left. How many do you think we're winning, Peach? I put on. I'll tell you what I posted. Actually, that's not the question. The question is, Tankathon has us with the 5th easiest remaining record. What record would make you satisfied with the end of the season? So it's not what do you think the record will be. It's what will make you satisfied.
So it's got to be over 500 for me.
Okay.
I won't be satisfied when you say it's the 5th easiest remaining.
Yeah.
And most people are healthy with the exception of Suggs. If Paolo or Franz was out or both of them, then I'd be happy with 500. But I need over 500. I need this team to get back to where they were. Right.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We're
so
kind of
13 and 11. 13 and 11 makes you happy.
I don't I don't love it, but I'm at least seeing positivity there. That's a positive. That was David Steele's Is It Anything, right? Like, we've had a good record after the All-Star break for the past 3 seasons. We're one of 5 teams with an over 500 record. So for me, we got to stay in that conversation to keep that positivity rolling into next season or the postseason, wherever we land.
So for me, I went way over. I think I put 18-8 as what would make me satisfied with the end of this season, because it's going to need to take something like that, even with our readjusted expectations that we've talked about earlier in the show. The expectations at the start of the season were top 4. That's not happening anymore. But can we get into the top 6 or at least 7, so we have to lose twice to get out of the playoffs? You know, we got to make some moves up the standings, and I don't think 13-11 or 12-12, 500 basketball is going to do that. So what will make me satisfied, getting back to even a readjusted level of expectations, top 6, top 7, it's going to need something like 18-8, 17-9, you know, something in there is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I just don't feel, I mean, you're correct. That does make a lot more sense with the way you're bringing that out there. But I just feel like a first round out is probably still that's our ceiling. I don't feel like we're going any further than that. So it doesn't really matter to me how we get there. But as long as we have over 500 record at the end of the season, at least we're going in with momentum. Last year, we had a losing streak towards the end of the year that really kind of stopped our momentum. We could have been a lot higher at the end of the year. This year, we got to reverse that and have it going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. So let us know what type of ending to this season would satisfy you, Second Cousins. And I hope that this show has been satisfactory to you. We've had a little bit of audio stuff. We're going to try to get it fixed. Neither of us are audio engineers, so let us know if you have some ideas. But thanks, as always, for coming through, Second Cousins, and watching. Peesh, it was good to see you. I'm glad you're back getting knowledge in the What I Learned segment. I hope we get another one of those soon, Peesh.
Well, I don't know, but I don't think I hope what I learned changes. That's what I hope.
Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for coming.